Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to talk with you today about something that I think is really important: learning English. And more than just learning it, I want to talk about staying motivated to learn English, especially when things get tough. I meet so many people who tell me they want to learn English, and they're so excited at the beginning. They buy textbooks, they download apps, they watch videos just like this one. But then, after a few weeks or maybe a few months, they start to feel tired. They start to think, this is too hard. Maybe I'm just not good at languages. Maybe I should give up. If that sounds like you, please don't worry. You are not alone. Learning a language is one of the most challenging things we can do as humans, but it's also one of the most rewarding. And today, I want to share with you some thoughts, some stories, and some practical tips that I hope will help you find that motivation again, or maybe help you keep it strong. First, let's talk about why motivation is so important when learning English. Think about it this way. Learning English is like climbing a very tall mountain. At the beginning, you're excited. You have your backpack, you have your water, you have your energy. The first part of the climb feels good. You're making progress. You can see how far you've come. But then, after a while, the mountain gets steeper. Your legs start to hurt. Your backpack feels heavier. You look up and the top still seems so far away. This is when many people stop and go back down. But the people who make it to the top, they're not necessarily stronger or smarter. They're the ones who found ways to keep going, even when it was hard. That's what motivation is. It's the fuel that keeps you going when learning English feels difficult. It's what helps you open that English book when you're tired. It's what makes you practice speaking even when you feel embarrassed about your mistakes. It's what keeps you watching English videos like this one, even when you don't understand everything. So, how do we find this motivation? How do we keep it alive? Let me share some ideas with you. The first thing I want you to think about is your why. Why do you want to learn English? And I don't mean just any reason. I mean your deep, personal, emotional reason. Maybe you want to travel the world and talk to people from different countries. Maybe you want to get a better job or study at an international university. Maybe you want to watch your favorite movies without subtitles or read books in their original language. Whatever your reason is, it needs to be something that makes you excited. Something that makes your heart beat a little faster when you think about it. Because on the days when grammar feels impossible and pronunciation seems too difficult and you just want to give up, that why is going to be what saves you. I remember talking to a student named Maria from Brazil. She was learning English because she wanted to work for an international company. But that wasn't really her deep why. When we talked more, she told me that her dream was to help her family have a better life. She wanted to earn more money so her children could go to good schools and have opportunities she never had. That was her real why. And you know what? She never missed a class, she never gave up. Because every time she felt tired, she thought about her children's future. Another student, Ahmed from Egypt, wanted to learn English to study engineering in Canada. But his deeper why was that he wanted to build bridges, literally. He wanted to design bridges that would connect communities and help people. Every time he struggled with English, he thought about those bridges, about the people who would use them. That kept him motivated. What's your deep why? Take a moment to think about it. Really think about it. And if you need to pause this video to write it down, please do that. Write it somewhere you can see it every day. Put it on your bathroom mirror, or on your computer screen, or in your phone. Because remembering your why is the first step to staying motivated. Now, let's talk about something else that's really important: celebrating small wins. One of the biggest mistakes I see English learners make is only focusing on the big goal. They want to speak like a native speaker, or they want to pass a difficult test, or they want to have perfect pronunciation. These are great goals, but they take a long time to achieve. If you only celebrate when you reach these big goals, you're going to feel discouraged most of the time. Instead, you need to celebrate the small victories every single day. Did you understand a conversation in an English movie today? Celebrate. Did you learn 5 new words? Celebrate. Did you have a short conversation with someone in English, even if you made mistakes? Celebrate. I like to tell my students to keep what I call a victory journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you did with English that day. Maybe you read 1 paragraph of an English article. Maybe you listened to an English song and understood some of the words. Maybe you practiced pronunciation for 10 minutes. These might seem like small things, but they add up. And when you read your victory journal, you'll see how much progress you're actually making. Let me tell you about another student, Lee from China. She was feeling very discouraged because she had been studying English for 2 years, but she still couldn't speak fluently. She felt like she wasn't making any progress, so I asked her to start keeping a victory journal. After just 1 month, she was amazed. She saw that she was actually doing something with English every single day. She was learning new words. She was understanding more of her English TV shows. She was even helping her younger brother with his English homework. All these small victories were adding up to real progress. Another thing that really helps with motivation is finding your English learning style. Some people learn best by reading. Others learn best by listening. Some people like to study grammar rules, while others prefer to just practice conversation. Some people like to learn alone, quietly, while others learn better in groups, with lots of talking and interaction. There's no right or wrong way to learn English. The best way is the way that works for you. If you're forcing yourself to learn in a way that doesn't match your personality, you're going to get tired and frustrated very quickly. For example, if you're someone who loves music, use songs to learn English. Listen to English songs, read the lyrics, and sing along. If you love movies, watch English movies with subtitles, then without subtitles. If you're someone who likes to write, start keeping a diary in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, your dreams. If you're a social person who loves talking to people, find conversation partners online or in your community. If you're someone who likes to be organized and follow a plan, create a study schedule and stick to it. If you're more flexible and creative, try different methods each week. The point is to make English learning enjoyable for you. When you enjoy something, motivation comes naturally. You don't have to force yourself to do it. You want to do it. I had a student named Carlos from Mexico who was struggling with English. He was using traditional textbooks, doing grammar exercises, and he was bored to death. But Carlos loved cooking. So we started using English cooking videos and recipes for his lessons. He learned vocabulary about ingredients, cooking methods, and measurements. He practiced listening by following English cooking shows. He practiced speaking by explaining recipes to his friends. His English improved so much faster because he was learning through something he already loved. Another important thing for motivation is setting realistic goals. I see many students set goals that are too big or too vague. They say things like, "I want to speak English perfectly," or "I want to sound like a native speaker." These goals are not specific, and they're often not realistic, especially in a short time frame. Instead, set specific, achievable goals with clear deadlines. For example, I want to have a 10-minute conversation in English about my hobbies by the end of this month. Or, I want to understand 70% of an English movie without subtitles by the end of next month. Or, I want to learn 50 new vocabulary words related to my job in the next 3 weeks. When your goals are specific and achievable, you can make a clear plan to reach them. And when you reach them, you feel successful and motivated to set the next goal. Let's also talk about something that stops many people from staying motivated: perfectionism. Many English learners are perfectionists. They want to speak without any mistakes. They're embarrassed when they don't know a word. They feel bad when someone doesn't understand their pronunciation. But here's the truth: perfectionism kills motivation. When you expect yourself to be perfect, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. No one learns a language perfectly. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. Even I, speaking to you right now, probably made a few small mistakes, and that's okay. Instead of trying to be perfect, try to be brave. Be brave enough to speak even when you're not sure about the grammar. Be brave enough to ask questions when you don't understand. Be brave enough to make mistakes and learn from them. Mistakes are not failures. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Mistakes are how we learn. I remember a student named Anna from Russia who was so afraid of making mistakes that she never spoke in class. She understood everything. She could write well, but she was silent. One day, I asked her to help me with a simple task: to call a restaurant and ask about their opening hours. She was terrified, but she did it. She made several mistakes, but the restaurant person understood her and gave her the information. Anna was so proud of herself. From that day, she wasn't afraid to speak anymore because she realized that communication is more important than perfection. Another thing that can really help your motivation is connecting with other English learners. Learning English can feel lonely sometimes, especially if you're studying by yourself. But you're not alone in this journey. There are millions of people around the world learning English right now, and many of them are facing the same challenges you are. Try to find other English learners in your community or online. Join English conversation groups, participate in online forums, find study partners. Share your struggles and celebrate your victories together. When you see other people succeeding, it motivates you. When you help other people with their English, it makes you feel good about your own progress. I've seen amazing friendships form in English classes. People from different countries, different cultures, different ages, all brought together by their shared goal of learning English. They support each other, encourage each other, practice together. This community feeling makes learning much more enjoyable and much less stressful. You can also connect with native English speakers who are learning your language. This is called a language exchange. You help them with your language, and they help you with English. It's a win-win situation, and it's usually free. There are many websites and apps where you can find language exchange partners. Now let's talk about dealing with difficult days. Because no matter how motivated you are, there will be days when you don't want to study English. Days when you're tired or stressed or discouraged. This is normal. This is human. The key is not to avoid these difficult days, but to have a plan for them. On difficult days, don't try to do everything. Just do something small. Read one paragraph in English. Listen to one English song. Practice pronunciation for 5 minutes. Watch a short English video. The goal is not to make huge progress on difficult days. The goal is to maintain the habit, to keep the connection with English alive. I like to tell my students to have what I call an emergency English kit. This is a collection of very easy, very enjoyable English activities that you can do when you're having a hard day. Maybe it's a collection of funny English videos, or easy English songs, or simple English books for children. When you're feeling down about English, instead of stopping completely, you use your emergency kit. Sometimes, the best thing you can do on a difficult day is to remember why you started. Go back to that deep why we talked about earlier. Look at your victory journal and see how far you've come. Talk to a friend or family member about your English goals and let them encourage you. It's also important to remember that progress in language learning is not linear. It doesn't go up in a straight line. Some days you feel like you understand everything. Other days you feel like you've forgotten everything you've learned. Some weeks you feel like you're improving quickly. Other weeks you feel stuck. This is completely normal. Language learning happens in waves. You make progress, then you have a plateau where it feels like nothing is happening, then you make progress again. The plateau periods can be frustrating, but they're actually when your brain is processing and organizing all the information you've learned. Trust the process. Keep going. The breakthrough will come. I want to share a story about a student named David from South Korea. He had been learning English for about 2 years and felt like he wasn't improving anymore. He was thinking about quitting, but I encouraged him to keep going, to trust the process. About 2 months later, he came to class so excited. He said he had watched an English movie the night before, and suddenly he realized he was understanding almost everything without subtitles. It was like something had clicked in his brain. All those months of steady practice had finally come together. Let's also talk about making English part of your daily life. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to integrate English into activities you already do every day. This way, learning English doesn't feel like extra work. It feels natural. If you like to read the news, read some news in English. If you like to listen to music while you exercise, listen to English music. If you enjoy watching videos on social media, follow some accounts that post in English. If you like to cook, try following English recipes. If you enjoy games, play some games in English. The idea is to surround yourself with English in a natural way. When English becomes part of your daily life, practicing it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels normal, even enjoyable. Another powerful motivator is tracking your progress visually. Create a chart or use an app to track your English activities every day. Maybe you give yourself a point for every 10 minutes of English study, or for every new word you learn, or for every English conversation you have. At the end of each week or month, you can see your progress in a clear, visual way. Some people like to use calendars and put a sticker or make a mark for every day they do something with English. Others prefer apps that track their streak, like how many days in a row they've practiced. Find a method that works for you and makes you feel proud of your consistency. It's also helpful to regularly assess and adjust your learning methods. What worked for you as a beginner might not work as well when you're at an intermediate level. Be willing to try new things, change your approach, and find what keeps you excited about learning. Maybe you started with textbooks and grammar exercises, but now you need more conversation practice. Maybe you were focused on vocabulary building, but now you need to work on pronunciation. Maybe you were studying alone, but now you need the energy of a group class. Be flexible and adapt your learning to your current needs and interests. Let me also mention the importance of being patient with yourself. Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence. Some people learn faster, some people learn slower, but everyone can learn if they don't give up. Don't compare your progress to other people's progress. Everyone has different starting points, different amounts of time to study, different natural abilities, different learning styles. Your only competition is yourself. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Are you better this month than you were last month? That's what matters. I had a student named Fatima from Morocco who was always comparing herself to other students in the class. She would get discouraged because some students seemed to learn faster than her. But Fatima was working full-time and taking care of her elderly mother, so she had less time to study than the other students. Once she understood this and stopped comparing herself to others, she became much happier with her progress. She was actually doing amazingly well considering her circumstances. Another thing that can help maintain motivation is understanding the incredible benefits that come with learning English. English is spoken by over 1 billion people worldwide. It's the language of international business, science, technology, and entertainment. When you learn English, you're not just learning a language. You're opening doors to opportunities you never imagined. You can communicate with people from dozens of countries. You can access information and entertainment that's not available in your native language. You can study at universities around the world. You can work for international companies. You can travel with confidence. You can understand the global conversation happening on the internet. These benefits are not just for the future. They start happening as soon as you begin learning. Even with basic English, you can start enjoying English movies, music, and books. You can start making friends with English speakers online. You can start accessing educational content that can help you in your career or hobbies. Think about how much English content you encounter every day, even in your own country. English words on products, English songs on the radio, English movies and TV shows, English websites and apps. When you improve your English, all of this content becomes more accessible and enjoyable. I also want to talk about the personal growth that happens when you learn English. Learning a new language changes you as a person. It makes you more confident, more open-minded, more adaptable. It exercises your brain and keeps it healthy. It teaches you patience and persistence. It shows you that you're capable of achieving difficult goals. Many of my students tell me that learning English has made them more confident in other areas of their lives too. They feel braver about trying new things, more willing to take on challenges, more proud of their ability to learn and grow. This confidence boost is one of the most beautiful side effects of language learning. Let me share one more story. I had a student named Miguel from Colombia who was very shy and had low self-confidence. English was extremely difficult for him, and he made many mistakes, but he kept going. After about a year, his English had improved a lot, but more importantly, his whole personality had changed. He was more outgoing, more willing to try new things, more confident in his abilities. Learning English had taught him that he was capable of more than he thought. As we near the end of our conversation today, I want to leave you with some practical daily habits that can help you maintain your motivation to learn English. First, start each day by reminding yourself why you're learning English. Look at that deep why you wrote down earlier. Let it fill you with energy and purpose for the day. Second, set a small, achievable English goal for each day. Maybe it's learning 3 new words, or having a 5-minute conversation, or watching an English video. Make it small enough that you can't fail. Third, celebrate your daily English victories, no matter how small they seem. Did you understand a sentence you wouldn't have understood last month? That's amazing. Did you pronounce a difficult word correctly? Fantastic. Did you use a new phrase in conversation? Wonderful. Fourth, connect with English in a way you enjoy every single day. Listen to an English song, read an English joke, watch an English video about your hobbies, chat with an English-speaking friend online. Make it fun. Fifth, be kind to yourself when you make mistakes or have difficult days. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to a good friend who is trying their best. And finally, remember that every single day you engage with English, you're getting better, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every word you learn, every sentence you understand, every conversation you have is building your English ability. Trust the process, trust yourself, and keep going. Learning English is one of the most rewarding journeys you can take in life. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, there will be difficult days. But the person you become along the way, the opportunities you create, the people you meet, the experiences you have, they're all worth it. You have everything inside you that you need to succeed with English. You have intelligence, you have curiosity, you have determination. What you need now is patience with yourself, consistency in your practice, and trust in the process. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to learn English. I believe in your dreams and goals that English will help you achieve. And I hope that whenever you feel discouraged or tired, you'll remember this conversation we had today. Remember that you're not alone in this journey, that millions of people around the world are cheering for you, including me. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep believing in yourself. Your English success story is waiting to be written, and I can't wait to see what amazing things you accomplish. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and I wish you all the best in your English learning adventure.